All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Petrodollar Pedro Show. Well, it's early morning for me. I don't know about you, but I'm sipping on some lovely coffee and I'm just enjoying my morning. How's everybody doing? I'm your anonymous financial friend, I should say. Simply here to debate, discuss, and share my thoughts and share some data with you. This is the 11th episode, and it's entitled The MMRI Lookover, The Changing World Order, and the Undeniable Global Recession. Let's just get right into it, right? So here we are. We're at the MMRI, and that is the Mannarino Market Risk Indicator. And we can see here it is at 226. The dollar index is at 105. The U.S. 10-year, little bump there. The U.S. 10-year is at 3.46. So a fair amount of risk has come out of the market over the last 3 weeks. Not too long ago, this gal was floating around 280. So a significant drop in the MMRI, which tends to signal a lot of volatility more than anything if you follow Mr. Mannarino as I do. So there we are, everybody. Taking a look at the chart, you can see here that the risk is coming down after two fairly decent peaks. Moving right on over to commodities, we're looking at natural gas. A little bit of air has come out of natural gas. Same for oil. Gold is floating at 1778, which looks to be some solid resistance for it. On the downside, we want it to stay there. In fact, I'd be perfectly fine with gold going back down to 1600 to flush out any more speculators that we have in the market. Silver is at 2258, holding very, very strong, very, very steady. Let's see how silver holds up. There are people calling for a massive deflationary crash in which they expect to see silver down at the $8 handle. We'll see. I don't know, but I can tell you right now, if that happened, it would not happen for a very long time because there are a lot of people out there who would view that as quite the deal. And also, if it happened, the premiums would absolutely explode. And let me tell you, you wouldn't be getting an ounce for $8. Copper sitting at 3.82. It almost seems as if copper sniffed out the Fed pivot long before anyone else did, because it dropped down to 3.4 and it's now sitting, or 3.4, $3.04. It's now sitting at $3.80, just shy of its $4 handle, which I believe was its high. So that's really signaling to me that inflation is baked into the cake, and I have an article we're going to talk about at the end of this to signal why I think that is true. All right, guys, there we go. That's nat gas, oil, gold, silver, copper. A quick look at palladium, 1857, platinum, 1006 platinum. An interesting trade for those who follow the industrial metal. All right, guys, the MMRI, live commodity prices, as always. Now let's swap over to Zero Hedge. Just glancing over everything. Putin, risk of nuclear war rising. Another pivot. Bank of Canada hikes 50 bips as it signals potential pause with inflation peaking. Yeah, because it's really peaking. You can just see here Zoltan Pozar. He is a very, 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 very smart individual who apparently was unaware of gold manipulation, and it seems that he has now taken that. How shall we say? And he's beginning to share it. Let's put it that way. Okay, we can see all of the, oh my gosh, the Federal Reserve unveils climate risk proposal for big banks for public comment. All right, guys, there's a couple articles out of the hedge I want to go over. Let's start with Xi arrives in Saudi Arabia for MBS red carpet treatment, epoch-making 3-day visit. And it's a whole bunch of just kind of floof and fluff and background data here, and yes, they expect it to be much more celebratory when compared with President Joe Biden's summer trip. Yep, strong expectations for cooperation. Great, wonderful. Oh, China's stability, very stable. With all those protests, very stable. Um, what I want to draw your attention to is where is it? Come here. Ah, Ali Shihabi, who is a DC-based Saudi banker and former political insider, commented, Saudi is, of course, not indifferent to the US, which continues to be a key partner. But the kingdom has learned the hard way that the US cannot be relied on consistently for support, which really just means they don't support us every time we shoot someone or murder a journalist. But you know how it goes when you're running a tyranny. So, guys, this is very important, if only because, I am Petrodollar Pedro, and this is making my name somewhat redundant, and I don't like that. I'm joking, of course. That's entirely why that is the chosen name for this channel. In fact, guys, this is very important because China, if they choose to open up, and even if it's just in a limited fashion, is going to consume a lot of oil. And with the shift away from the U.S. towards the East, what's going to happen is that it's going to make energy incredibly expensive for the West if Saudi Arabia basically says, "Hey, China, here's cheap oil. You're closer to us. We'd rather sell it to you. You're a larger market." The U.S. is going to, we're not energy dependent as far as like we have our own energy, but we are not pumping it. We are not drilling for it. So we are currently energy dependent. And so this is not a good thing to see Saudi Arabia cozying up to communist China. You don't want to really see that when that's a large military partner. Oh my gosh, my dog's in the morning, every morning. Yes, I love you. You're so a beautiful, amazing creature. Hey, nope. All right, central banks start Q4 buying more gold. After adding a historically high amount of gold to reserves in the third quarter, central banks kicked off Q4 buying more gold. It's almost like gold is money and all else is credit, right? I think we all understand that by now. Total central bank gold holdings are now at the highest level since 1974, which happened, I don't know, right before the inflation of the 1980s. India's lack of gold purchases in August was notable. They already have quite a lot. They also have been buying silver. But I want to draw your attention here to Bloomberg and their explanation, which I thought was just great. Remember, this is Bloomberg. Bullion does have one crucial advantage. Unlike bonds, it doesn't bind you into a relationship with an unreliable counterparty. Remember that this is Bloomberg saying this. In a world where you can trust no one, it makes sense to bulletproof yourself with metal. So if Bloomberg is saying that, if central banks are buying it, the next time you sit down for a family holiday and someone's making fun of you for the price of your metals, just ask them why Bloomberg said that, okay? Direct them to that article because I'm fairly certain the only way you actually make money is you buy money. And think about that one, but we'll move on. This was a rather important one to me, and this is why I believe inflation will remain baked into the cake. Because when you have the rule of law break down, especially at the highest institutional levels, you will get all sorts of rampant misuse, not only of funds, but just of general trust, right? Because trust is a huge thing in society, right? You need to trust that when you park your car and you go into a store and you come back out, it's not broken into. All these things haven't happened, okay? So let's read on. Walmart CEO warns retail thefts will Wow, I'm on my game this morning, guys. Thefts will lead to price hikes, store closures, and when there's less goods, but there's more currency chasing them, that leads to inflation. It will also lead to price hikes because there's less goods being produced, but there's still tons and tons and tons of currency floating around chasing those goods, even if It's more expensive to borrow that currency. The currency that's already there wants to go to what it needs the most. And what everybody needs the most right now is food, okay, and fuel. So even though you see these momentary spikes down in inflation, you're going to continue to see more inflation because there's more currency chasing fewer goods, and there's also a lot more people too chasing those goods with that currency. So whether you view that as good or bad is entirely up to you. I make no bones about it either way. All I'm going to tell you is this is one of the reasons I believe that copper is remaining high. Not so much that it's a metal people are buying like crazy, but it's showing you that there's a structural deficit of goods. But at the same time, it's not even that there's so much that there's a deficit. It's also that there's just a general lack of law and order, and therefore price signals are beginning to go into disarray. They're going into disarray because you can't get proper price signals in a lawless environment. It's just a fact. So that is one of the reasons why I think inflation will happen, because there will just be a general misallocation of funds over and over and over again, which will cause people to have less currency, of course, but then over time, they're going to chase what they actually need instead of chasing speculative things, which will cause stagflation, and it'll cause deflation, things you don't need, like TVs. It'll cause inflation in things you do need. But I will digress from here. That is why I see a fair amount of inflation remaining extremely sticky. Now, to go ahead and end this particular video, I wanted to draw your attention to a Market Watch video that I thought was really on my game, article that I thought was just absolutely audacious, to say the least. So this is Market Watch. People are long social distancing due to COVID-19. Economists say that's contributing to a drop in labor force participation. Now I'm going to let you all go through and read the article, because I don't want to read that out loud, but I just want to let you go ahead and know that it's here and that this is what economists think. It'd be real. I love Mike Maloney because he makes a great point. It'd be wonderful if we stopped listening to these academics and people with book knowledge and started listening to people who have hands-on knowledge and actually know what they're doing. Now, I would say that's a very true thing. We need more intelligent people in the world sharing advice, and this is, people are, I just can't. I'll let you go ahead and make your own decisions on whether or not that makes sense. Okay, so all right guys, we went over the MMRI. It has dropped down to 226. A little bit of risk has come out of the market. It seems like the market is expecting a Fed pivot anytime here soon. I'm looking for them to continue to try to throw the bull, and I think they're going to try to, they may even try to shock the market with 100 basis point rate hike. Not saying they will, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did that to try to shock the market out of thinking, oh, we're coming to the rescue, and right after that switch to a 25 basis point hike. It wouldn't surprise me. That would do quite a lot to the market. So commodities, nat gas has come down, oil has come down, gold has come down, silver has come down, copper staying right about the same, palladium has come down, platinum holding about the same. So that's all right, guys. When you see something down and you believe in the thesis, what do? You scoop it up on sale, right? But that's okay. That's not financial advice. Everybody, we already know there's risk of nuclear war. The Bank of Canada has dropped their rate hikes somewhat. The global recession is not even a question anymore. This is extremely important, and Andy Schechtman of Miles Franklin has done a fantastic job kind of detailing why this particularly is so important, along with many other things relating to China. Guys, the central banks are still buying more gold. What should you do about it? I think you know. There is sticky inflation stuck. There is sticky inflation, and it's stuck, guys. Look, this is not, this isn't Conspiracy Joe here. This is the Walmart president and CEO telling you this will lead to price hikes and store closures. That's not Pedro. That's Doug McMillan, okay? And just a bit of ending humor. People are long social distancing due to COVID-19. That gave me a good giggle. Aye. All right. Well, you always got to get a good laugh where you can, right? All right, everybody. Well, I hope you enjoyed this Wednesday MMRI lookover. This should be the 11th episode. Apologies for my somewhat rambly nature. Every now and then, these videos will slim up and slim down and get more efficient as they go. I'm just sharing my Pedro thoughts with you on my channel, and I hope the people who listen are enjoying. So with all that said, be physically responsible, spiritually responsible, take radical self-responsibility. I'm your anonymous financial friend even, and I'm simply here to debate and discuss and share data with you. I hope you are having a fantastic morning. I'm going to enjoy my coffee and try to get my mind right and get a few more videos done. With that said, Pedro out.